On tonight's CTV News, a Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment report shows city rents are almost on a par with Auckland. Unwanted household rubbish is costing charities dearly. And the Earthquake Recovery Minister is defending accusations the rebuild is too slow. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. Today was the final farewell of the Dean of Christchurch, the Very Reverend Linda Patterson.
Where did you last see Linda? Laughing, telling a joke, sharing the gift of salvation. Bishop Victoria Matthews spoke with a smile when she talked of the life the Very Reverend Linda Patterson lived at her funeral today. It was a celebration of life of the Christchurch Cathedral's first female dean. Hundreds of mourners gathering at the transitional cathedral to farewell the Very Reverend Linda Patterson. 40-year-old Patterson passed away of natural causes in her home last Sunday. Members of the church carried her coffin into the cathedral. The hymns, readings and musical setting of the service had been chosen by Patterson herself. The Gloria was sung by the cathedral choir and the epistle read by the headmaster of the Cathedral Grammar School. For Bishop Victoria Matthews, not only was Linda a friend and a colleague, but an inspiration.
It's the loss of a great friend, as well as a colleague and someone I admired beyond all telling. Yeah.
Described as a brilliant young theologian, the late Dean taught at Oxford University for a dozen years before being called to Christchurch. A great woman of prayer and faith, Bishop Victoria Matthews says Linda Patterson's legacy is so immense it's impossible to measure.
But there was a depth to her prayer life and her theology and her love for Scripture, as well as this just delicious sense of humor that always seemed to be bubbling up and would always be there in every sermon.
Who the Dean was and what she believed was an example to many throughout New Zealand. More than 700 people attended her funeral today, paying tribute to the well-loved Very Reverend Linda Patterson.
That she had an infectious faith and drew people to the church and to the gospel of Jesus Christ just by being who she is. And we will miss her beyond all telling.
She brought hope to the people of Christchurch. Originally from the United Kingdom, Bishop Victoria Matthews says Miss Patterson was well sought after. Her deep loyalty to the city was inspiring for her fellow clergy and church members. Dean Linda Patterson's home was badly damaged in the earthquakes and the floods that followed. Bishop Victoria Matthews believes the Dean had many opportunities to leave Christchurch, but she remained faithfully loyal.
And it would have been very easy for her to walk away after the earthquakes or during the earthquakes, but she didn't. She was loyal. She said, "Oh, God has called me here, and this is where I'm to minister." So she brought us hope and faithfulness and the good news of Jesus Christ.
The Very Reverend Linda Patterson will be returning to her homeland of Northern Ireland. Bishop Victoria Matthews will leave tomorrow, accompanying her friend to be reunited with her family. Her Irish funeral will be held on Sunday afternoon at the Droma Cathedral. Bishop Victoria Matthews says it's very important for the family of the late Reverend to say their final goodbyes.
Because they only saw her in recent years occasionally, sometimes every couple of years. And so for her to be alive to them one day and then a phone call saying she's died is heartbreaking. I don't think they'll really believe it until she comes home to them.
Carrying the coffin of her beloved friend, Reverend Sheena Dixon pays tribute to Linda's memory. Reverend Dixon appeared on CTV's Loose Lips show days after the devastating news of her friend.
She was deeply spiritual.
Oh, yes.
She would have loved to have been a part of this program.
Oh, we would have loved to have her.
She was my friend. I loved her dearly. She leaves a big gap in many people's lives.
Right.
So I'm looking upon this experience as a tribute to Linda's life, her faith and her deep spirituality.
Oh, what a lovely idea for tonight to be.
In times of trial, the Very Reverend Linda Patterson would say, "How shall we handle this, and shall we pray?" Honouring the legacy of the Very Reverend Linda Patterson, the church gathered today for a moment of celebration, prayer and thanksgiving. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
A newly released report from the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment shows the average weekly rent price in Christchurch is catching up with Auckland fast.
The report from MB shows Christchurch's rental prices are soaring. The average weekly rent price was 13% higher in April than this time last year and is about $20 cheaper than a rental in Auckland. Auckland's average weekly rent sat at $451 at the end of April, 4% higher than Christchurch. Now the Christchurch Press is predicting rents in the Garden City will match Auckland's by the end of the year. This is despite the average Aucklander earning $220 more than Cantabrians. House prices are also increasing at a rate of 8% from April 2013 to April 2014. The report shows the average Christchurch house value was nearly $452,000 at the end of April. City Missioner Michael Gorman has told the press the report is highlighting that the market has no sympathy for the poor. He believes the government needs to set up new social housing in Christchurch to help meet the increased demand. A 3-month-long CTV investigation has also found dozens of people in the central city relying on free food and clothes. Many of them are homeless. An increasing amount of those people have become homeless within the last 3 years. Some lost homes in the earthquakes, others lost jobs.
Christchurch is facing a mental health crisis and is in need of more money to help fund the solutions.
Canterbury could have a mental health crisis on its hands if more money isn't found. The Canterbury District Health Board's Chief Executive, David Meats, told the press the CDHB was up against rising numbers of mental health patients. About 5,000 people are under the CDHB mental health care, with admissions to child, youth and mental health inpatient services seen an increase by 83% since the 2011 earthquakes. And demand from adults in the community services increased by 30%. Mr Meads believes the unprecedented growth and demand for mental health is unsustainable and showed no sign of slowing down. Mr Meads told the press more community services, including home-based care for acute patients, was needed in the next 2 to 3 months. The proposal has the backing of Health Minister Tony Ryle, who says the Ministry of Health is currently working through the detail of the proposal. A member of the CDHB believes the numbers are concerning, with about a third of the population stuck in limbo. The Canterbury Community Trust Chief Executive says it highlighted a growing concern about an increase in mental health issues in Canterbury. Last week, the Trust announced more than $1.4 million in donations for organisations in health and the wellbeing sector to target mental health demands.
Conservation Minister Nick Smith has come under fire after comments made in a meeting with Fish and Game. Emma Cropper has the story.
Fish and Game aren't giving up on comments made by the Minister of Conservation. Fish and Game is a statutory authority advocating for fresh water and alleged Dr Smith told them to stop advocating against the intensification of dairy farming at a meeting held in mid-July. 4 people attending that meeting confirmed to Radio New Zealand's Morning Report about the minister's threats of restructuring the organisation if it didn't tone down its stance on water quality. Now Fish and Game are calling for the resignation of the minister, with no plans to give up on the pursuit until he assures them he has no plans to stop them from advocating for freshwater quality. But the minister is denying the claims. Dr Smith's office says it won't cut the income of Fish and Game or make changes to prevent it campaigning over dairy, going as far as to release these notes taken by a staff member from the meeting. Dr Smith had threatened the president of Freshwater Angler Association with a defamation case over the comments, but today has dropped that threat of legal action.
The Earthquake Recovery Minister is defending what Labour MPs have branded a slow rebuild.
Labour's housing spokesman Phil Twyford is calling the rebuild painfully slow. In the 2014 budget, government forecasts show 25,000 new homes will be needed by 2020. Phil Twyford says due to a slow rebuild, that won't be happening for at least 25 years. Those comments were made to the Christchurch Press following new figures from the Christchurch City Council, showing while nearly 5,000 building consents were issued between July 2012 and June 2014, just 2,160 homes were signed off as complete. Labour's Phil Twyford has told the Press it's easy to see why rents and house prices continue to go through the roof when so few rebuilt and new homes were being built. The Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee is saddened by the Labour MP talking down the region's recovery. He says the 25,000 homes projected out to 2021 isn't only for houses in Christchurch, it's also for homes in the Waimakariri and the Selwyn districts. Under the Land Use Recovery Plan that was released in December 2013, Christchurch was projected to need an extra 1,500 new homes by 2016 and another 9,200 homes between 2016 and 2021. The Minister says Christchurch already has 44% more homes than the 2016 figure. He says thousands of homes will be needed in the Waimakariri and Selwyn districts following a population shift post-quake. Coupled with a low unemployment rate of 3.2% and a median weekly gross household income increase of 16.6% between 2008 and 2013, the Minister says the Labour MP should have been praising the pace of recovery instead of sticking the boot in.
Labour's EQC spokesman Clayton Cosgrove now says the Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee has shown how badly he is managing the rebuild by getting his figures wrong on how many houses are needed in Christchurch. Mr Cosgrove says the minister's statement that only 1,500 new homes are needed in Christchurch by 2016 ignores the 6,000 homes needed in Christchurch alone to resolve earthquake relocation and temporary housing demand. Mr Cosgrove says the minister is out of touch if he thinks the 1,500 homes will replace the thousands destroyed by the earthquakes. Coming up, charities are being hit in the pocket from unwanted household junk.
G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven and enjoyed.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526. Missed a show or want to watch it again? CTV is fitting in with your lifestyle. Be in control with CTV On Demand. Check out our website and follow the links. ctv.co.nz.
Omarino Wine Park, an award-winning vineyard conveniently located in Harewood Road, Christchurch, and handy to excellent hotels and motels. Our lovely new acoustically designed facilities enable us to provide you with a vibrant and unique venue set among the vines and park-like gardens. Whether it's a function for 20 or 200, we do our best to make your day very special. Book your wedding at Christchurch's newly established function and event venue, Omarino Wine Park.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
A Christchurch City Councillor is mooting an annual clean-up day when residents could freely dump any unwanted household items. The hope is this proposal would ease the pressure on charities dealing with an influx of junk dropped off as people vacate their homes for repairs.
It's moving day for Megan Eotua. Her family are moving out of their rental of more than 2 decades, and it's a great opportunity for Megan to pass on any unwanted items to the Salvation Army.
It's amazing what you can accumulate in 21 years.
She's one of many who have been donating to the Sallies as they move out of their earthquake-damaged homes. Things like old crockery, a printer, a stereo and even a mirror.
We didn't have time to sell it or anything, and I'm glad I can bless others.
The Salvation Army on sells what's donated at its family store, a place filled with bargains. The profits go back into the local community and help to fund the men's shelter. However, not everything that's dropped off at their warehouse is in good condition.
A rusty heater, we wouldn't even be bothered testing it. You know, not only that, but people can't afford those sort of heating anymore, so we need to think about that as well. Our clientele's often, you know, poor. We're all poor, but pillows like this, nobody could sleep on those. It comes under...
I wouldn't want to buy those.
No, exactly, you wouldn't. Some people have the attitude that we give them away for free, but you wouldn't give that away for free. You know, it's still got to be the same quality as if we could sell it.
The cost of dumping unwanted items that can't be unsold has jumped from about $70,000 last year to more than $111,000 in the last financial year. Other charities have also noticed hikes in the cost of dumping as more people leave their homes and clear out their cupboards. Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell is proposing the council allows charities like the Salvation Army to have their dumping fees waived. That would be great news for the Salvation Army. The Addington Centre alone has paid $25,000 in the past year to dump items that aren't up to scratch.
All the money we make here in the Addington area, the profit, goes directly to the Addington community, to the men's supportive accommodation. So it means they literally have up to $25,000 more a year just from us.
The City Council's Environment Committee discussed the issue today, deciding the council staff should provide further information before councillors decide whether the cash-strapped City Council should push ahead with the proposal.
So that, for example, rather than householders also being faced with this problem of increased dumping fees for them, that we look at, you know, what kind of, say, citywide collection could we have for furnishings and furniture and stuff really that isn't wanted any longer and isn't really recyclable or reusable.
Councillor Clearwater says all options should be on the table. He'd even like to look at a community dumping day. For the Salvation Army, the increase in dumping costs has come as a surprise.
It started with the earthquakes, obviously, people wanting to leave town initially, and then as the repairs go on, people having to get out of their houses, and it hasn't stopped. It's been consistently.
The Addington Family Stores tries to recycle everything it can. The wood in the shed is chopped up and any burnable wood is sold as firewood. However, this massive bin is filled with dirty and broken items that can't be sold, and it has to be emptied every week.
Yeah. How much rubbish are you dropping off a year? How many tonnes of rubbish?
I couldn't tell you. I don't even know that I want to know. It'd be huge.
The Salvation Army is hoping the council will agree to cover the cost of dumping unwanted items. The Environment Committee will meet to discuss the issue next month. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Farmers being prosecuted for dairy effluent offences are at an all-time low.
Cleaning up their act, dairy farmers are adapting and changing the way they farm. As revealed by Fairfax Media, 17 regional councils successfully prosecuted 21 dairy effluent offences in the past year, the lowest recorded since 2008. Federated Farmers President William Rolliston says the organisation is happy to see the industry's legal footprint was improving. Mr Rolliston told the press 21 prosecutions is 21 too many, but people need to remember there are 12,000 dairy herds in New Zealand. Mr Rolliston believes it shows there is a change in the farming culture. He says a decade ago the main topic was stocking rates, but today is dominated by environmental factors. Mr Rolliston also says it's a sign councils are communicating better with farmers, making a substantial difference to compliance. But the number of abatement and infringement notices issued rose slightly on last year, with just under 300 issued for each. But this is a decrease from 2008 when just over 500 were issued. Abatement notices require a person to stop any activity contravening with the Resource Management Act, Resource Consent or Council Plan. Infringement notices impose a fine of up to $1,000, with prosecutions happening in most serious cases.
Still to come, the future of the Bishopdale Library is up for discussion.
Be a immersed in the unique cultural highlights Germany has to offer every Tuesday night with Discover Germany. Tuesday at 7 p.m, right here on CTV.
Get rid of that damaging and unsightly moss, mould and lichen from your path, drive or roof with Mossbuster. Mossbuster is a no-bleach, non-abrasive, biodegradable solution that has over 35 years of proven results. Mossbuster costs less than half the price of other well-known products and can be yours for less than $1 a litre. You just spray it on and let Mother Nature do the rest. Check out our website to find the best solution to your moss, mould and grime problem. Order online or call us now on 0800 88 1000.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our Par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Carpet Kingdom. At Carpet Kingdom we stock a massive range of carpets and we're also the largest vinyl stockist in the South Island. And not only do we have an excellent range in store, but you can purchase our stock online. We offer free measuring quotes, we have our own installation team, we ship nationwide, so come on down and see us at Carpet Kingdom, 312 Wilsons Road in Waltham, just off Brougham Street, or visit us online at carpetkingdom.co.nz.
Drive It showcases the new arrivals to the motoring world, comparing and testing the latest models to discover which one is the best. Drive It, Sunday afternoons at 2:30, only on CTV.
The future of Bishopdale Library is looking bright, with hopes of a large sum of money being injected into the project.
A Christchurch City councillor believes he's secured the money to build Bishopdale a new library and community centre. The comments were made at a recent council workshop organised to discuss how to prioritise the repair and rebuild of quake-damaged community facilities. The press reports that Councillor Jamie Goff says the councillors agreed they would put an extra $2.8 million into the project. The board has asked for the additional money because it was unhappy about spending $1.2 million on repairing the existing 1970s facility. The board believes the facility no longer met the community's needs and had a short lifespan. Mr Goff believes the proposed library and community centre would be cheaper to run than the existing facility and would also breathe new life into Bishopdale Mall. The money for the facility isn't set in stone. A formal report was still to go before the full council. Demolition today began on the quake-damaged Heathcote Valley Community Library after the council decided to demolish it and the nearby Heathcote Community Centre, using the $807,000 insurance payout to build a combined facility.
If you're driving around the Christchurch Central City, CTV's traffic update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's some tips on how to get around this week. Good news, Durham Street is now back to 2 lanes from Bearley Ave to Morehouse Ave. Montreal Street is also clear of roadworks and is a nice free run the entire way from Morehouse Ave to Bearley Ave and is a good alternative northbound route. And remember, Park Terrace is open to 2-way traffic. And Hereford remains 1-way westbound between Durham and Montreal Street. To keep up to date on what's happening on the Central City roads, stay tuned to CTV News first at 5, and in the meantime, visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
And finally tonight, let's check out your regional weather.
Good evening, Canterbury. Let's take a look at the weather around Canterbury today. Looking first at Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine, 16. Hope it's been nice in Methven, Ashburton and Rakaya. You hit 15 today. Darfield reached a high of 15, with Leeston and Ralston not far behind on 14. Same for Lincoln and Christchurch. They hit a high of 14 degrees today. Over in Akaroa, they had a mild day on 14. Looking at North Canterbury, Rangiora, Kaiapoi and Amberley hit 15. Further north in Culverden, Cheviot and Hanmer Springs, they hit the high of the region with 16 degrees. And Kaikoura hit the low of the region, only reaching 13 today. In Timaru, mild northwesterlies pick up and become strong and gusty later in the day. Do expect it to be fine with high cloud throughout your Wednesday, hitting an overnight low of 3 and a high of 14. In Ashburton, strong gusty northwesterlies developing during the afternoon, possibly reaching near gale force in exposed places during the evening. Other than that, looks like you're in store for a fine and mild day, hitting an overnight low of 3 and a high of 14. Christchurch, high cloud developing during the day and northwesterly winds increasing during the afternoon, becoming strong as the evening sets in. An overnight low of 3 and a high of 14 during the day. Mild northwesterlies expected for Kaikoura as well, then moving on to become strong and gusty later in the day. Expect fine with high cloud, an overnight low of 3 and a high of 14 degrees. And in other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 17 and a low of 7. Methven and Rakaya expect cloud with a high of 17 degrees. Darfield 17, Leeston a bit warmer on 18 with cloud. Ralston and Lincoln will be warm on 18 degrees. Akaroa stealing the high of the region, reaching 18 degrees. Rangiora and Kaiapoi a high of 18 with cloudy skies expected. Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot have the low with 15 and an overnight low of 6. And looking ahead for Canterbury, mostly fine on Thursday with sunny periods and high cloud. Strong northwesterlies at first, then winds becoming strong again on Thursday night. Strong gusty northwesterlies on Friday, fine and mild with high cloud. Mild gusty northwesterlies and high cloud for much of Saturday. Mild gusty northwesterlies and high cloud for much of Saturday, but a cold southwesterly changing during the evening will bring low cloud and showers. Cloudy and very cold on Sunday with wintry showers. Snow flurries are possible to 200 metres. Moderate southwesterly winds, showers clearing late in the day. Cloud clearing and sunny periods increasing on Monday with northeasterly winds developing. And that's all for your region's weather. I do hope you have a lovely evening.
We'll end the bulletin with highlights from today's service for the Very Reverend Linda Patterson, Dean of Christchurch Cathedral. That is CTV News for Tuesday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.